So no, I have to make the rules about what would make a character a Mary Sue pretty iron tight here to show you why every single thing that people will say to defend Bella Swan, like, don't really disqualify Bella Swan from being a Mary Sue. So to me, a Mary Sue isn't just a character that has like is like unrealistically, unflawed as a character and everything, and doesn't have any realistic flaws. A character can be deeply flawed, but if the narrative or the story it pushes itself around such that anybody that's of any real consequence that isn't hated by the character in such a way that them not liking her would be would not be a consequence for them. She wouldn't care what they think. You know, everybody that she cares what they think will wrap themselves around her and kiss her ass, that despite the fact that she treats them like shit. She doesn't do anything to earn their affections whatsoever. She's terrible to them, and they still either want to be her friend, badly, or they still want to be with her badly, despite the fact that she's been a total bitch to them. And by the way, when I call a woman that myself these days, I'm very reserved. I don't usually use the term. I don't like the sexism of it and stuff. But every now and then I get pissed off enough. And when I talk about it, to me, a bitch is a woman that's rude. It's the mean girl. You know, it's the girl that treats you like you're disposable. That's the girl that I would call a bitch. I wouldn't call her somebody that just stands up for themselves or whatever. I've seen women called that just because of the fact that they got bullied, and the fact that, and then the girl stood up for himself and pushed back against the bully. And to me, that doesn't make a woman a bitch. That just makes her somebody that actually has like a spine. And good for her that she did push back. Nobody should be picked on that way. But Bella Swan is boorish, rude, hostile to people like Charlie, and Charlie just constantly forgives her for the most part. He's a little bit miffed in certain situations, but fuck him anyways, because Bella is super important and everything. Like, this is a girl that was handed everything to her that she ever wanted on a silver fucking platter, and everybody's like, "This is not a Mary Sue because she's clumsy and awkward, and like, I'm sorry, but that doesn't disqualify a character from being a fucking Mary Sue. I mean, this story sets Bella up in such a manner that like she has all the friends in the world and everything, and she's terrible to all of them, and they still kiss her ass. Like nobody ever. No, like look at how she is. She can't even have a girls' night out without basically getting fully distracted. She can't be all in with it and everything and just go with her friends to go do something. No, she ditches them. And despite her ditching them, they never get upset enough with her to say fuck her. Let's not take her next time, and let's not go to her wedding, and let's not be friends with her because she acts this way. Like there's nobody in the Twilight world, who decides that Bella Swan is so boorish and standoffish and treats everybody so poorly that like fuck her. You know, that basically doesn't happen except for maybe like two characters in the series, and so to me that this is enough. This is enough to qualify her. Like what gets me is that anybody, like, to me one of the rules would be, is this character disliked by anybody whose affection she really wants? That should be enough to tell us something. I mean, there are no consequences for Bella that Bella actually cares about and feels terrible about, or that would come at some great cost to her, where she'd be sad about the fact that it happened to her. She can treat everybody poorly, and everybody will still forgive her endlessly and still want to be with her. Like that, to me, is some serious Mary Sue energy. So like this idea that she's flawed and she's standoffish and she's hostile and rude and everything, and these are flaws of her, and that means that she's not a Mary Sue. And Edward is so much more the Gary Stu than nah. They're Gary. Edward may be Gary Stu, but Bella is still Mary Sue. She's just, the Mary Sue that's deeply flawed, and yet everybody kisses her ass like she's fucking, like she's got beer flavored nipples, despite the fact that she treats them like garbage.